Hi everyone, this is Sanjana from Mockat, and I'm continuing the series where we're bringing in our own students and who've taken CAT and got through top B schools to help you understand their experiences and what went right, and hopefully replicate that in CAT 2024. And today I'm really excited because I have with us Adithyan, who's actually spent a few months working for Mockat, right? So hey, hi Adithyan, thanks for doing this. And I think if there's one thing that people take from this interview, it's probably the value of chasing your goals and betting on yourself and just doing it all to get through your dream college, right? So why don't you start by telling us a little bit about yourself?
Sure, ma'am. So I'm Adithyan and I come from Chennai. So I'm a BCom graduate and I have a work experience of over 2.5 years in an investment bank. And then I started preparing for CAT last year, and I am joining IIM Shillong this year.
So your profile, I think, is something which is very apt for an MBA grad, right? You have a commerce background, you work with SocGen, and you have the right amount of work experience also, right? So there are a lot of jobs which open up once you have 2 years of work experience and relevant work experience in your case, right? So why did you want to do MBA? And when it comes to pursuing an MBA, you yourself had this pressure where, you wanted to get through a top B school, right? So when you started your prep, what are the sections which were easier for you, the sections which were harder, and maybe tell everybody a little bit about how you prepared? Because I think from the prep perspective, there were no complaints which I can have. I think you put in a very good amount of prep.
Sure, ma'am. So to begin with, why MBA? I would say I always had an inclination towards managing things. Even during my undergraduation, I had a responsibility to be the vice president of an association. So initially, right from undergraduation, I was more interested and inclined towards management, and that's the reason that was like a starting point to do an MBA. And to do an MBA from a top business school, I have always dreamt of doing an MBA from a top business school. So IIM's the reputation that the colleges have, and the infrastructure, and the networking opportunities that we get, all of them, it's like second to none. So joining an IIM has always been a dream, and that's the reason that I started preparing for CAT. Initially, when I started preparing for CAT, I found DILR to be a bit easy because logical reasoning was something that came to me naturally. And English was verbal. I found it to be a bit tough in the starting stages because I'm not a person who reads a lot of books or articles. So I had to put in a lot of effort. And Quant was, I am a person who was not really good with mathematics. So that also needed a lot of prep. So initially, DILR was a bit easier for me, and then I had to put in the effort to improve two other sections.
Okay, so DILR was easy for you. Quant is where you had to put in work. But see, verbal also you said it's difficult for you. But then your English is good, right? And even your scores in 10th and 12th and all that are pretty good. And if I look at exams like XAT and NMAT, especially, right, with very minimal prep, you've actually done very well there. So what was tough for you in CAT VARC? Was it the fact that, because you've not read the RC seem new, or was it that, CAT RCs are a little different from what we've had in school? And also tell us about then how did you then work on it, and how did you get to like a really good score? And in fact, there were mocks where you've got like scored in 40s and 50s as well, if I remember.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. So I think initially I found the articles to be difficult because of the writing style. Right. The articles that are sourced for CAT are from foreign articles. Like we see articles from Aeon or Psyche or something. So these articles, the writing style are very different from what I have read so far. So I think that was the major reason that I found it to be difficult. But I think constant prep, along with the articles that we used to get in the website, which is the reading articles for POV, that was really helpful. I consistently did it for around 4 to 5 months, and I didn't miss a single article, which really helped me to improve the reading speed, and also to understand the writing style of different authors. So that really helped me in understanding the difficult passages. Also, apart from this, we had abstract passages in different genres. So I think we post articles from all the genres, which helps students to get a fair bit of understanding about every different aspect of every different genres. Yeah.
Right.
That helped me.
And because, I mean, I'll link the daily POV section here in the description. So, I mean, if it motivates anyone, I think you didn't do it in the previous year, but then this year you did it for a few months. And I remember you've sent me many POVs and they were pretty much on point. So hopefully inspiring anybody, if you take it up for a few months and you essentially end up, doubling your verbal score, and which is what you've done, right? So, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So that was there. But then on the DILR front, that was something which was a little easier. And we always speak about the fact that whatever is your strong side, I mean, by verbal also, like we were targeting really high marks, but DILR is where you really shown, right? So we always speak about, working on our strong suit and making sure that we maximize the score there. So how did you prepare for the DILR section?
So when it comes to preparation for DILR, I used to solve all the previous year CAT papers. So that was the beginning and starting point for DILR prep. And apart from this, we had a lot of cases in the website. We had the practice questions, we had lesson videos. And apart from this, Vignesh brings in a lot of new cases into the classes, which were also really helpful. And these cases, apart from the CAT cases, when you solve cases that are a bit more difficult from the CAT standard, I think you can solve a bit more when it comes to mocks and exams. So that is what I used to do initially. And then apart from the practice, the test taking strategy is also something that is really important. So going with a fixed mindset of cracking at least 3 cases or having unrealistic expectations is not going to help you. So that is something that I realized initially. So I wanted to crack 2 cases. That was like the minimum that I wanted to do. And if I crack like 2 cases, then it takes me to the 95-96 percentile. Yeah. So that really helped me in having a realistic expectation and goal. So DILR is really important because quant was not a strong section of mine. So once I crack like 1 or 2 cases in DILR, it pushes me and gives me confidence to the next section.
Right. So how do you prepare for quant? If that was like the part which was tough for you, how do you prepare for it, and how do you strategize for it in the mocks as well?
Okay. So quant was always, to be honest, it was a nightmare for me right from school because I didn't learn it the right way. So that was the major issue that I had. And when I joined Mockat, I understood that maths is something that is really fun and interesting. So when you learn something right from scratch, I think you can definitely understand all the tougher topics in a better way. So I started watching all those concept videos that we had in the website, where we had the classes are in a very elementary way. Even someone who finds mathematics very tough like me, I think they can watch the concept videos and they can get a fair bit of understanding about mathematics. So that really helped me in understanding the complex concepts of quant, like algebra or something. So that was really useful. And apart from the concept videos, we had something called as concept revision, which had it was like a quick recap of all the concepts in the in the portions and syllabus. So that was also really useful. So apart from this, we had a lot of practice questions. We had new questions in the classes. We had speed concepts, which improves us to increase the speed and accuracy. So apart from this preparation, I think I had a strategy that Vignesh recommends a lot of students. So which is 6-8-8 strategy. So that strategy was really useful because it helps us to manage time in a better way. So spend 10 minutes and when 15 and 15 minutes for 6-8-8 questions. So that was extremely helpful because a lot of students, even I was doing the same mistake of going through all the questions. Yeah, we don't get to the end of the paper, so we solve in a random manner. So that is not like really useful when it comes to CAT. So it's all about time management and picking and choosing the right questions. So this 6-8-8 strategy was a complete game changer for me during the mocks and the exam. So that helped me, make quant a bit more approachable. So
okay, that's good to hear. And when it came to the practice, I think you've been someone. I mean, I have to commend you on that. That you've attended pretty much all the classes and you've put in all the practice. I know POVs you sent me a fair amount and so on. If you ask me, your prep was also good. in the previous year, right? And it wasn't bad. Like, your score wasn't bad. You still ended up getting through I mean, having interviews and then getting through also B schools, which are ranked in the top 40, right? But it wasn't at that level of, the top 10, top 20 B schools, the IIMs that, you wanted. So are you okay to talk a little bit about what sort of went wrong last year? And, how did you make up your mind that, no, yeah, I have 2.5 years of work experience, but I'm going to give it like, one more shot and take it one more year?
So previous year, when I got through one of the business schools, I was working in a different company. So the workplace was a bit hectic for me. So I was not able to spend more time on POVs, or I was not spending enough time on preparation. So that was the reason that I was not able to get into the top 20 business schools. So I was a bit hesitant because I already had a business school last year in the month of March, and I wanted to. So I wanted to get into the business school, but I had a discussion with Vignesh sir regarding the opportunity that I had, and but Vignesh sir was he was confident that once I start preparing again and take another year of CAT, he knew that I would definitely crack through one of the top IIMs or something. So that was when I decided to take off another year, and I wanted to prepare full time. And so I quit my job, but at the same time I saw an opening at Mockat, so which for a marketing role, which was flexible for me to devote some time for CAT preparation and for work as well. So initially the flexibility was really something that I needed the most. So I had to quit my working job and join Mockat and started preparing. And the work was also it was flexible before CAT, and after CAT it became hectic. So it was really useful. The opportunity, the learnings that I had from Mockat was also something that I would take with me. So that really helped me to take CAT again.
Right. And for anybody who's wondering, yeah, I mean, initially it was a little bit less, but then I think literally the day after CAT is when you sort of started. And I think there have been days when you work like, 16, 18 hours, right? So that's something which is there. And despite that, you've cracked pretty much all the interviews which you had. But that's like a fantastic point, right? Sometimes we can be in a role which is a little bit hectic, and that is what is not giving us the time to prepare. And as a result of that, a lot of people end up thinking, okay, let me just take up what I have. And especially if it's something which is in the top 40, where you have a decent salary, and you'll have like 100% placements and all of that, it is definitely tempting, right? But then if you hold out for the IIMs or other top B schools, the sort of like the learning that you get, the respect that you get in the corporate world, or if I just look at it in terms of numbers, right? If you're going from a 15-20 lakh salary to like a 25-30 lakh salary, going from a 15 to a 25 is something which, in the corporate world is going to take us at least 2-3 years. So I think that is one thing which Vignesh is fond of saying, right? You might take 1 year, but you end up saving yourself like 3, 4, 5 years on the other side. So I mean, hats off to you for doing that. That's for sure. And I think on the like I said, the work after that, I think on the YouTube front and all of which we've done, that's something which has also been great. So, but speaking about interviews, so you had quite a few interviews, right? And it was not just CAT. You had a great score in NMAT, XAT, SNAP, and all had also gone well. So what is the mindset like? Because now, of course, it was like, it's this year, right? Do or die. And someone who ended up cracking pretty much every institute. You've got through IIM Lucknow, the SM program, and you've got through Shillong, and, you've chosen to take up Shillong, which has been your best call. So how did you prepare for it? And just tell us a little bit more about the interviews, how they went. Of course, one thing I know which is in your favor is the fact that you have like you're coming from a commerce background, you have the relevant work experience, and that's I mean the YMBA part is something which is on the easier side. But of course, I mean there are curveballs which can come in any interview.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. So interview preparation, I started with news. I think that is like really important. Current affairs is something that a lot of interviewers they focus on. So apart from that, since I come from a commerce background, they expect me to know a lot about finance, especially that I have banking experience. That is something they focus a lot on the interviews. So preparation wise, I started preparing. I brushed through the concepts that I studied in my undergraduate, and I went through the current affairs, news, and everything. So I was somebody who was not who was not a person who read through news articles or who goes through news every day. but this has become a habit for me right now, and it has been really helpful as well. So almost all the interviews, they focused on the current affairs aspect. So that was preparation was really helpful. So apart from this, interviews can be a bit tricky because you never know how an interview went. Right now, when I look back, there are a lot of interviews that I could have done better. But at the end of the day, you never know if you can, if you're through or you're not through. So,
but you did good enough. I mean, we always want to be perfect, but it's not about being perfect. Right? In every interview, there will be those one or two questions which we don't know, or when we are second guessing and thinking, okay, just sort of judging our answers, they can get better always. But then you got through pretty much all of them, right? So definitely the interviews did go well, right? So now we come to the fun part of the interview, where now so far we've been speaking about the prep and all of that. So now we have the rapid fire. Now, your answers can be as long or as short as you want. The only rule is you're not allowed to think before you answer.
Sure.
Okay. So, which is your favorite of the three sections?
Right now, I would say verbal, because that has been the section that I scored. That has been my highest scoring section in all the exams.
Okay. Of all the exams which you took, right? CAT, XAT, SNAP, NMAT. Which exam do you think you are most suited for?
I would say XAT, because XAT is an exam that gives us a lot of time to think, and we can take a lot of time. 3 hours the exam. It's slow paced in a manner, so I think that was really helpful. That was my favorite exam.
And actually, your scores in that were pretty great. So, what was more stressful, the exams or the interviews?
I would say the exam.
Okay. Okay. Who have you interacted with more, Vignesh or Sanjana?
That's a tough question. I would probably say both, but right now, when it comes to the work part, I will have to say Vignesh sir.
Okay. What is a feature or aspect of Mockat that you've made the most use of?
I would say the daily POV. That has helped me score more in verbal section. So that is something that I would recommend to a lot of students as well. Daily POV. It helps us understand the different genres and articles, and that has been the standout feature of Mockat for me.
Right. That's a great point. On that note, I mean, the daily POV and some of the solved examples across different genres is something which is available if you just subscribe, right? So you don't even need to pay anything. So that's something which hopefully, everybody then takes up. I mean, my favorite part, of course, of the site also. Okay. So what do you want to specialize in, or what role do you want to take up after your MBA?
Right now, I'm more interested towards finance because I already have a work experience in a finance background. So I want to explore more, finance roles, that too in the front end business side of things. So that is the place that I'm more inclined towards.
Okay. And speed or accuracy, what do you think is more important in CAT?
I would say accuracy. If you can solve like 5-6 questions with good accuracy, then it takes you to 15 marks. So you can clear the section with loss. So that is
absolutely. Sometimes, in fact, even with less. Okay. If you could go back and change one thing about your prep, what would it be?
I would probably spend a bit more time on algebra and quant, because that was something that I didn't like a lot when I was preparing. So I would have focused more on algebra.
Okay. Okay. What is one advice that you would give to a an MBA aspirant?
One advice I would give is try to be consistent. The journey is not like it's not like always up or always down. So you will have your own time. So try to be consistent, and don't expect results. When you're consistent, the results are it's a byproduct. So
it might take a bit more time to come through. Right.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Right. And what is one quality that you feel that every MBA aspirant should have?
I would say discipline. Okay. Like I said, consistency and discipline are like extremely important to crack CAT.
So, right. So like I said, you've been someone who's probably pretty much attended every class, every test taking strategy session, taken up every mock, and done a lot of POVs and speed concepts and stuff like that. And all the best to you. And I'm sure you'll get into the roles that you want to.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So all the best for CAT 2024.
All the best for CAT 2024.